Hi, good day. Welcome back to my channel. Yes, it's been quite busy, but I'm back. So, today I thought we'd talk about judgment and understand it in its entirety and with the many nuances it can take on. So, if I understand judgment correctly, it is when we take two or more different concepts, things, people, ideas, compare them, weigh them up to categorize them in our lives in order to decide whether this, firstly, whether this is an important concept to me, something that might impact my life or not. And from there, we judge and label according to importance, for instance, and the amount of impact it would have on our lives. So judgment is perfectly normal and it's human. That's what we do. Every time we do an action, we have a thought. There is judgment because you need to decide whether or not this is important to you and whether or not it will impact you. So in social terms, judgment takes on a completely different persona. For instance, judgment could come, it can be channeled through gossip, channeled through negative opinions, through envy, greed, poor treatment of others, and jealousy, for instance. And when this happens, for instance, let's talk about gossip. When we gossip about someone, usually it involves judgment over an action, a person, an idea, or a concept, for instance. And gossip, obviously, we understand that gossip is the negative term for information sharing and socializing and so forth. So when we gossip, and this is something I do for myself, when an opportunity in a group setting arises for a juicy gossip story, did you hear this person bought a new car? I wonder how they made the money for that. Or did you hear this one went on holiday again? From my own point of view, what I do is I try to gauge firstly, why do I want to have the desire to convey this information? And in many cases, it is because we compare others' worth to our own self-worth. Right? So in that sense, I don't feel good enough about myself. So it would be, in some form, an idea, beneficial to me to belittle someone or to speculate on their circumstances so that I'm not in the spotlight because I don't feel strong and bright enough to be in the spotlight. That might be a motivation for gossip. Another motivation for gossip will be the lack mentality, thinking that I might not have, hypothetically, I might not have the capacity or the potential to reach the success that other person has reached. And also remember that when we judge this to be an important topic, an important person, why is that person important? Because I envy them? because they are more successful than I am, they are prettier or sweeter or nicer or whatever? Is it because of jealousy and envy and greed? Or is it rather, again, my own lack mentality, my own mentality that tells me you're not good enough, you're not as good as that person, and I'm focusing on the part where I am not good enough, and this is why I then focus on other people's achievements, other people's successes, other people's happiness. Because gossiping is essentially news focusing on other people. That is what gossiping is. And then from there comes the judgment and the opinions, public opinions about, oh, they shouldn't be doing it this way, they should be doing it that way, or they shouldn't be wearing grey tops, they should be wearing colourful clothes, and so on. Why do we feel the need to tell people what they should be doing, how they should be doing it, how they should be living their lives? Is it not because we feel powerless in ourselves? Because if you're a powerful person, you know who you are, you know what you want. Whatever other people wear, or what they look like, or what they do in the outside world has no effect on you. Obviously, when you're comfortable with who you are, nothing in external environments will affect you. Obviously, except if it's directly targeted to you, you have to obviously deal with the issues. Excuse me. But in most cases, other people's lives have nothing to do with me. And my life has nothing to do with other people's, for as long as I don't affect them directly. And therefore, other people's judgments, opinions, and disrespect will not affect me. Because I don't need I don't need the validation of the external world. I don't need them to validate me, to approve of me. I approve of me. So another nuance of judgment is anger and unresolved issues. When we are uncomfortable with a situation we have experienced, when we got hurt, or we suffered physical damage, or we suffered financial losses, or any difficulty and challenges in our lives, obviously invokes a response. And our first response was anger. How dare you? Why does this happen? And so on. And so we go through all the emotions to deal with our issues. And eventually we get to acceptance and understand, okay, well, this was a lesson. I'll take it as a lesson. It made me a better person. I'm grateful for that. If we cannot reach that point, we will continue to exert our rage on others in the way of gossip, of judgment, of disrespect, of negative opinions, because we don't fully understand the challenge that we were put through, what we had to do to overcome this challenge, and the positive effects of that challenge. In short, lesson learned. If we get to the point where we have lesson learned for all our challenges, we won't carry the residual anger and depression and sadness of all those issues and then have it spill over to our loved ones and our community. in the form of obviously judgments, gossips, and so on. So, and also another point, last point, judgment in many cases happens because of the indoctrination. And it is a heavy statement to make, a very, very serious statement to make, but it is so true, because our community, how they operate, we will strive to do the same. When in Rome, you do as the Romans do, right? And in many cases, especially with kids and, less privileged kids especially, they don't see a world where people operate differently. They see the same character, the same person in every face they meet in that community, every day at school, every day at home, every day walking to the shops and back. They see the same character, the same person, and it is a very, very troubled, sad, angry person trapped in poverty. And in many cases, that creates the judgment. Because first thing is, their self-worth is affected. Definitely, absolutely. They don't feel as worthy as other kids, for instance. They don't feel they have the potential of the other kids because they don't have the opportunities. These are all our perception, right? They don't feel that it will be possible. And in many cases, especially in less privileged communities, kids will try not to shine, not to bring attention to themselves, because in that area they will be ridiculed. They will not be accepted as one of their own, because they are different, because they have different opinions, and because they believe in themselves, because the general idea and the general conduct of the community is, we can never expect anything better because this is the hand we were dealt, right? And anyone who expects different and who works toward different will be an outsider, and they will probably be subdued and not be allowed to shine. So to all those kids and to those persons who know they have the capabilities, the talent and the capacity and the will and the strive and the drive and the aspiration to be better, to do better, don't be held back by judgments, by gossip, by being ostracized or being judged for being different. Rather be proud within yourself that you see a way clearer than anyone else. Your perception of you is clearer because you know you have endless possibility. You have endless talents. You can do anything you try. If you try it enough times and if you try hard enough, you can do it. And this I say, obviously, personal experience. Success can be achieved by anyone. Happiness can be achieved by anyone. Love can be, lived by anyone. We all have the same, we are all entitled to the same world. It is our perception that takes away our opportunity. It is our perception that drives our fear. It is our perception that undermines our courage. So rather, let's change our mindset to be focused on what is important. Number one, first thing, I am important. My life is important. My future is important. From there, my loved ones are important. And then my community is important. If you focus on one person, a celebrity, someone you met 10 years ago and you still remember that person, try to find the lesson in that. Try to find out, search within yourself and see, is it my envy? Is it my poor self-worth perception? Is it my lack mentality? Is it my anger? Is it my unresolved issues that have me focused on someone I met 10 years ago? That's something to think about, right? So yes, when we feel compelled to judge, first think about where it comes from. Why do I want to judge? Is it because I don't have? I can understand that. But never judge if you don't have, but you have the capacity to get it done. If there is a work that you can do, an action you can take to better your future, towards the betterment of your future, towards your success, towards your happiness, towards shining brighter, then rather focus on that. So this is my message for you today. Thank you very much for listening, and please join me again. Take care. Bye-bye.